the fabrication, the lies, the things that go out there. I'll give you a couple of examples. There's a show on Fox, and Fox generally treats me good. The anchors are great. But there's a woman, Dana Perino. I hardly know her. So what happens, I have to explain the story. And everybody that does a book, it's true. Everybody that does a book, they all call me, Mr. People I don't even know, please. I said, but I never met you. I don't want to give you a tweet. So Dana Perino, she comes out, and I watch her on the show. Got a little problem with, like, marbles in the mouth. And I watch her on the show. But she, the show, got a little problem with, like, marbles in the mouth. And
Daily Briefing with Dana Perino starts right now. Go, Dana.
Fox News alert, we are awaiting the White House briefing to start just a few hours after President Trump made his first formal comments on the Las Vegas massacre. Hello, everyone. I'm Dana Perino, and welcome to the Daily Briefing.
Back to you.
Adam, obviously, Jason Aldean was the headliner because he's the last one, and presumably the killer waited until that moment because what is that like now? Because I understand that the city of Las Vegas is doing a pretty good job of trying to just confirm that John Rich, who was there, as you mentioned earlier in the
yes.
reporting in the day, he will be on the 5 tonight with us and doing a very important job and an emotional one. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment when John Roberts from the White House briefing room is going to join us. And we'll also have Ari Fleischer, the former White House press secretary, and the press secretary on 9/11 to talk about him and what it's like to prepare a president to speak to the nation after a major horrific event such as the one in Las Vegas last night. But let's bring in Chief White House Correspondent John Roberts. John, one of the things that Sarah Huckabee Sanders was asked initially was, and that the tone was exactly right, that it was both unifying and that the tone was exactly right to take us back to what it's like after a president gets, bad news like 9/11 or today, like with President Trump. And I know that Josh Earnest immediately, and in fact, after mass shootings, we see this happen over and over again, which is the people on Twitter and out there in the country immediately jump to gun control. Huckabee Sanders had to start to, basically she batted them away, but the questions were about gun control. And how do you, as a press secretary, best deflect that? And there's a time and a place for it. But in the meantime, you know this well that the White House has a full plate. You have this massacre that happened last night. Yeah. You had the developments over the weekend, or I guess it was yesterday, about the president telling Secretary of State Rex Tillerson there's no use talking to the North Koreans. What's the best way for President Trump to try to keep all of these trains moving on timetables that work for him to try to get his agenda accomplished? Indeed. All right. Ari Fleischer, former press secretary to George W. Bush and a great friend and a Fox News contributor. And we hope to have you at the Daily Briefing very often if you're willing.
Of course, anytime.
Okay. Thank you, Ari. And people have been called to give blood for those to save those lives. Jonathan, what's new there? To give blood for those to save those lives. The president and Mrs. Trump will hold a moment of silence here just momentarily, and I believe that Vice President Pence and Ivanka Trump are already out there. We will take that live. Your thoughts this morning about this moment when President Trump came out to address the nation
when it's most needed.
What do you think that and we're going to hopefully hold you after this break because we want to talk to you about a little bit about the politics of it. But in the immediate aftermath, and you have this chaotic scene, what do you think that and we're going to hopefully hold you after this break. All right, that was the moment of silence led by President Trump and the First Lady, and then. All right, that was the moment of silence led by President Trump and the First Lady, and then Vice President Pence and his lovely wife. And Chris, Chris STIREWALT, hopefully you're still with us, bring you back in.
Yes, ma'am.
I always find that those moments important, that I think it's important that we hear those accounts.
Perhaps to our profession.
Both the president and the vice president took extra care today to mention law enforcement and to say that they were supported. Does that feel new to you? That might be unfair to the previous administration, but there seems that might be unfair. So hospitals in and around Las Vegas dealing with hundreds of seriously injured patients as we hear from the family, of the shooter, why his brother says he is dumbfounded by this tragedy. As we hear from the family, of the shooter, and we are hearing from the family of the Las Vegas gunman, Stephen Paddock's brother.
The show got a little problem with like marbles in the mouth, and comes out. She has lunch with me a while ago, then another lunch. And then she calls and she wants to know, could I do a tweet? And I say, absolutely, I'd love to. Let's send over the book. So I do a tweet. Her manager writes me saying, Mr. Trump, thank you so much. It was so great. Do another one, blah, blah, blah. I have all these notes. Then she sends me a card, Mr. Trump, thank you so much. And she sends me the book. And it says something so nice. I won't even tell you it's so nice. Everything's beautiful. And her book did okay. I wouldn't say it's exactly Gone with the Wind. All right? And then I see her on television on O'Reilly the other night, and she's attacking me. I say, what kind of people are these? She's attacking me. So I say to myself, that's incredible. Then she attacked me again. I said, wait a minute. She's writing me all these, like she wrote me the most beautiful letter. She called me. That was like 2 months ago. Tough business, right?